I think it was early November. It seemed to grow, and it was getting flaring up, and tender, and going, oh, this is a little bit weird. I was actually out with friends over the New Year's period and got my leg wet, and that also, I think, affected how it or allowed bacteria into it and grew somewhat more. But it was after that I went, no, I need help with this. So I tried to manage it for another week or two, but no luck. I had some sense because, as you do, you jump on Dr. Google, but I don't take that as a godsend. I went through the motions of just finding out what it was, and that's where I read about Bruglia ulcers, and I went, oh. By the time I actually got to a clinic or to the hospital for them to actually look at, or a specialist, a wound specialist, it had turned into something different. It wasn't the same wound. It had spread out a lot more. Wasn't quite as deep, and they classed it as a venous ulcer rather than a Bruglia ulcer.
The people at the clinic that I attend regularly, they were doing their best, but they said really and truly it needs to be sort of, somebody needs to come and have a good look at it. There was an added problem because not only was there this persistent thing on the right ankle, but of its own accord, on the inner side of my left ankle, a new wound appeared. So suddenly I found that I had not one, but I had to be worrying about two. I told you Jan was the wound specialist. That was the one that my doctor recommended. She comes and has a look and says, yes, well, we've got to do something about this. And it was round about that time that they mentioned that such wounds can in fact take a long time to heal. Well, this is partly comfort, because I was noticing that it was taking a long time to do something, but to find that that was the standard problem that a wound like this generated was a relief to know that it wasn't some peculiarity of me.
So got to the hospital, and the registrar, his immediate reaction was, we're going to cut your toe off. Now, I've come from a background where you have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. We hadn't got to plan A. It was kind of, let's cut the thing off. So I resisted. I said, hang on, I need to understand what's going on, because to me this has been a wound and now it's something a bit more serious. And he said, well, look, it looks like it might have got into the bone. So then I started learning some other medical terms that I'd never heard of. And I said, well, look, I'm not interested in that. Tell me what plan A, B, C, D are. So they put me on very heavy antibiotics. By Wednesday, it had improved a little bit, but then a surgeon came in and basically said, we're going to have to take your toe off. Now, that was a bit more measured than what I had in emergency. And I said, well, what are the options? He said, well, we don't take the toe off, you die. We take the toe off, you live. I said, okay, when can we do it? And his reaction was, and it was very interesting, he said, well, people normally like to rationalise these things because we're taking a body part. I said, look, there's no options here. Live, die. When do you want to do it? And it was done. So that was the start of the journey, and the journey hasn't finished.